Ayo, what's outside is within. The mind regulates the hand that masters the pen. The pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier still. The stargate to the mind's revealed. The vortex.
Peace, everybody. Cyclonious here, your host. Could you give your name for the people watching?
Hi guys, I'm Dan Sadler. I'm Vice Captain of Pan Nation.
Welcome, Dan. So this part here of these questions is like your early connection and your passion. Okay, so how did your journey with the Steelpan Pan begin, i.e. Pan Nation, and what initially pulled you into the world of Pan music?
Okay, I'm going to answer those in the opposite order.
That's fine.
When I was a young man, I was used to experiment on my nan's keyboard in her house, and any kind of musical device, contraption that I could get my hands on, I would always be able to play little melodies and songs of things that I was hearing on the TV or kids' cartoons. So when I was 7 years old, I got invited to either learn the flute or the violin at primary school, and I chose the flute. My sister chose the violin. That wasn't nice to listen to, but so I chose the flute, and after my first lesson I went home and I taught myself the little flute solo in the song California Dreamin', and a little excerpt from a song that we were singing in the choir called Cauliflower's Fluffy and Cabbage's Green. And so I took those two little pieces of music back in that I'd learned, and I showed my teacher, who got really annoyed with me and told me that that's not the program. This is not what I want you to play. I want you to play what you can see there on the sheet, and you need to learn how to hold it and where the notes are. So he inevitably kind of culled my creativity on the flute, and I gave up within about 3 weeks. So I didn't really do anything musical until came back round to secondary school, and I've got a new music teacher, new kind of eyes on me. And by the time I'd gotten into year 7, all I wanted to do was play drums. So I signed up, got in for my first drum lesson. And straight after that first lesson, I did the same thing. I ran off and I asked my friend who was learning drums, teach me some stuff, teach me some extra stuff. And I learned a couple of beats. And then when I went back in to show my teacher the beats, again, same scenario, he wasn't very happy with me. He told me again that I needed to be learning what the drums are named, what the different rhythm note values are. And so that kind of killed my vibe for it. And I got to about 14 years old, and there was a set of steel pans in my school, and there was only 5 instruments, so 2 tenors, a double second, a guitar pan, and a bass pan. We didn't even have a drummer. So it was 5 of us, and my music teacher just basically kicked my ass and said, you need to get down to that room, there's a space in the band, go down there and learn some music with your friends. So one lunchtime I went down to the pan room, I learned 2 songs in my first session, and I never looked back. And that's how I kind of got introduced to steel pan. Now, how did I get introduced to Pan Nation? I'm going to fast forward a few years. I'd just done I've been meeting Chris actually, because my band was from Portsmouth, and he was he was teaching up here in Tottenham. So we ended up going to certain events like Music for Youth together. So Sound to Steel would turn up to compete there, and Chris would have a band from Hornsey there, or one of the Haringey bands. So we would be encountering each other across the way over the years. And then when Chris entered his first Panorama as an arranger with the band Pantasia back in 2006, I did offer my services to him because he was telling me he needed help in the tenor section. I said, right, well, I can learn it if you want. It's only a few days before Panorama. And he said, actually, we're cool this time because I don't want to just unbalance what we've already got here. So the following year, I actually didn't go back with the band I'd played for years. I came up to play with Pantasia. So 2007, I just got back from a trip to Trinidad. I was inspired by playing with BPTT Renegades, which is one of the top bands in the world. And they played a song called Band from Space that year. And Chris wanted to choose that song as his song for Panorama. So when I got back to London, I didn't go home to Portsmouth. I came up here to Tottenham. I shared some music and some ideas with Chris, and he wanted to bash some ideas with me. We became, musically, really great friends. So that was all the way back in 2007. That was even pre-Pan Nation.
Yeah. So, that's really interesting, man. And a nice insight for those that don't know. Do you know what I mean? When I see you, and I see you with the band, I see you as a multi-instrumental when it comes to with the different forms of pans that you can play in there. Also playing the drums. What do you love most about the versatility of Steelpan?
Yeah, it's definitely a versatile instrument. The only thing it can kind of be described as being similar to would be a brass band or a string orchestra, where all the instruments create one type of sound. However, in my opinion, the steel band has done it in a much more creative way, more because of the styles of music that we have access to. We're not just limiting ourselves to classical music or to a certain time period like Baroque music. We're actually opening up the door and saying, well, we can play classical, we can play calypso, we can play the current soca tunes, we can play the #1 pop tune, we can play anything, we can dig up reggae tunes, whatever is needed for specific events. And that variety and that versatility is what separates Pan from other instruments, in my opinion.
Yes. What is it about Steelpan music that keeps you so committed year after year?
Another great question. Yeah, there must be something in it that's kept me in it for nearly 30 years now.
Yeah.
I believe that Panorama has been it's a big pull. Back in 1998 is a funny story. Two of my friends from my band, Laura and Sonia, if you're watching, hey. Laura and Sonia got an invite to play with the London All Stars Steel Band. And it wasn't that I wasn't good enough to play with them. It's just that they were really close mates and they got an invite and they just ran with it. The following year, I was so jealous, I actually learnt the song. I would listen to them practice. I had a tenor pan at home. I would go away and figure out parts. And I never actually got to play the song, but missing that first Panorama, I feel, has probably played a part in the fact that I've never missed one since. And I've played every single year with a variety of bands. And it's not necessarily like the Panorama world is quite intense in terms of you're normally affiliated to one band, but my band from Portsmouth never made it to Panorama as a band, but we used to go off and support other groups, and that gave us the free license to go and experience different arrangers and different music and stuff. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
It does. I want you to go into teaching and mentorship.
Yes.
Now, as somebody who teaches Pan within schools, what do you see in the younger generation of players?
I see the future of the steel band movement. Without them, the band will die. Our band, Pan Nation, all the other bands. If you don't invest in the youth, you're never going to grow, because at some point your players will either go to university, get married, get a high-level job. They'll just disappear slowly but surely, one by one. And if you don't have a funnel of young people coming through into the band, it's always going to suffer. One of my favourite quotes is, the future of the country lies in its youth.
That's right.
Very straightforward. I mean, I've been a Pan teacher since I was 15 years old. I was teaching young children from the local primary school and an adult education group, as well as teaching music to my peers at school.
Yeah.
So I kind of got a head start on teaching, but as you know, it's a passion of mine. Taught your lovely daughter.
That's right.
And now she's a success story in Pan Nation. And she started out with me in year 3 in primary school. She developed really well. She became my band captain. She won 2 of the school's panoramas with us. And then she got the invite to come into Pan Nation to play for Big Panorama 2 years ago, when she was literally the underdog. She was tiny.
Yeah.
She'd never played in a professional band. She'd only ever played at school. But she took that step and came in, and that's why I do what I do. That's why I haven't been able to stop teaching, as much as sometimes as I get older, getting up at 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning to drive up across London to go and teach for 9 hours is quite hard and quite challenging. But the end results, when you have kids like Tamare and others that are just absolutely killing it at their age, it's incredible, because now she's one of the leaders of the section.
Yeah.
She's teaching the adults the music in the band, and you see that's happened in 2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Those kind of success stories keep me going, keep me turning up to school every week.
That's dopeness. Now, how does your role as an educator influence your approach within Pan Nation?
I think that over the years I've built up some strategies that can help me get my message across well to a whole group, to hold the attention of a whole group. Now, it's a different environment in Pan Nation. So Pan Nation get a little bit more raw, Dan, and I can be more myself here than I can be in school. And I think I appreciate that from the band, and therefore the band gets the very best out of me because of that.
Do you feel a responsibility to pass on pan culture and history through your teaching?
Oh yeah, we're always talking about the culture of the steel band movement, about particularly calypso and soca music, the roots in Trinidad and Tobago, and we constantly talk about that more in school, because in Pan Nation, a lot of the players have been out to Trinidad and experienced that culture, and if not, they've been to the New York Carnival, or they're veterans at Notting Hill Carnival. So a lot of the adults here at Pan Nation do invest themselves in the whole culture. In order to get that into the young people in school, you have to get them listening to soca music.
Yeah.
And what's funny about soca music is all the innuendos in it. They're kind of designed so that children don't understand what it's about, but adults do.
Yeah.
And the children are hearing songs about butterflies, and the adults are hearing something completely different. And
Right.
so you can actually get away with playing them certain soca songs in primary school, but I do have to pick my songs wisely, because there are some songs which just the lyrics are just too out there for kids. So and it's becoming more bolder as we're getting on in the 20s. It's becoming a little bit more bold.
Yeah. Okay, I'd like to go into now a different section, which is Pan Nation's purpose.
Okay.
What makes Pan Nation stand out as a band, musically, culturally, and spiritually?
That's a big question. Okay. So because I've experienced a lot of the leading orchestras in the UK, the steel orchestras, I can probably say this with my hand on my heart, that it's the community values that separate Pan Nation from every other band. We rehearse together, we gig together, we party together, we travel together, we go out together, we hang out together. It's a family, and the core values of this family is that we try to help each other out, to build each other up, to grow each other. We're not trying to tear each other down. There's not many sour grapes. I mean, in lots of other bands, you have a whole string of people waiting to be the next person, to be asked to be the arranger. But here at Pan Nation, we are absolutely blessed to have one of the best steel pan arrangers in Chris Story. And I mean, beyond that, I can arrange some decent music too. We have Russell Roberts, who can kick out some great music. Kimane puts down tunes. Aaron in the tenors, he puts down music as well. And there are so many arrangers in our band, and Chris has the space and time to allow us all to get our music out as well. And that's different to all the other bands. So that's what I feel separates us, is that community spirit, the fact that the band is more than just one person. Everybody knows that when it comes to Panorama, it's Chris's music. We're all here to support Chris, to get the very best out of Chris, so that we then have the very best music that we can go and play at Panorama and Carnival. And along the way, we get our opportunities too. So,
Right. What do you think Pan Nation represents to the community in Tottenham and Haringey?
Again, it's community. We put on our events for the community. So we put on a Christmas show in Gladesmore, just down the road. We put on a Blockorama, which is a free event at Lordship Rec. And we do these events every single year, and you see the events are growing every single year, to the point where the Christmas show, we can't squeeze anyone else into Gladesmore. We sell out after about 2 weeks. The Blockorama was so big this year, we even invited Coleraine Park to come and play, and all of the local bands. So we want the community to see us as the steel band in North London, as the only steel band. And the way that we can achieve this is by keeping going with the work that we're doing in the schools and the local areas, because that supports the community mindset of the band. That's how young people can start in primary school and professionally develop to be a leader in a professional steel band, like your lovely daughter. Give her another couple of years, she may well be a section leader.
Right.
And from somebody who started in a primary school, that's incredible. That's the kind of success route that we need, the progression route, to keep this thing alive and to stay as the #1 band in North London.
Definitely. Talking about being a #1 band, I want to move into Panorama 2025.
Yes.
What's different about this year's Panorama for you, and in terms of the stakes, energy, or your expectations?
Right, so this Panorama is an interesting one in the sense that last year there was a disturbance with the judging and the results, and a band was announced as the winner, and another band was corrected as the winner online via an Instagram story about half an hour after it was announced in the park. There was a huge drama over it. Lots of people were very upset. So for the first time in many years, one of the leading steel orchestras in Europe, Ebony Steel Band, won't be participating. Now, Ebony don't win every time, so there are other bands in recent years that have been very successful, and they are in the competition. That's Real Steel, Mangrove. So obviously we're up against Metronomes is in the competition as well, and we're up against some of these bands have 30, 40, 50, heading on to 60 years experience, and they've been playing panoramas and winning panoramas for a long time. Pan Nation is a new band. Retrospectively, we're only just over 15 years old, 15, 16 years old, and this is only our 4th Panorama. Now, we did do 2 back in the day as Pantasia, but that was in 2003 of them actually, 6, 7 and 8. And then we didn't go Panorama while Pan Nation was born. We were growing, learning music, getting better as a band, and now we're in the stakes of where we can go Panorama. And the reason why we can go is because we've got this whole community of players to dip from. We don't have to invite other bands to come and play with us. We have a lot of talent within our own area. And I feel that we've just been working on this for the last 5 years. We didn't go last year, sadly, but the year off has done us really great, because now our attitude, our mindset is better. We're more of a well-oiled machine. The committee, the captains, the arranger, Chris himself, like, we're all on the same page. We all want to go up to Notting Hill Carnival and show them that Pan Nation can and will win a Panorama. Now, will it happen this year? That's what we hope. We're feeling really great vibes. We're slightly ahead on the music this year. I mean, as you just heard, Chris just put down the final piece of music. Now we can expect some tweaks, but now we're at the halfway point as well. This 5-week summer season that we're doing started 2.5 weeks ago yesterday. So we're now tipped into the second half of the season, and all the music has been taught. So now we just have the time to make the players understand the music that they're playing and get Chris's music to sound as good as we can, because we have the music, we have the setup, we have all the floats built, the t-shirts are designed, everything's been done, everything's been sorted out. Now it's down to the players. Right. And currently I have a really, really good feeling about this year, and it just feels different in the yard, and I can't really describe it. Maybe more relaxed. No, I noticed it myself, and I've commented to you about it. So yeah, I even feel it myself. I feel a difference. It's a lot less intense, isn't it? A lot less intense, but a lot more engaged, and a lot more results. Yeah. And the key thing, what I'm seeing, is happiness. Yeah. I'm looking at, when you lot are playing, like, there's times when I would stop filming and I'll just look, and I can see people actually enjoying what they're doing, smiling and happy that they've achieved, like, learning it, and they feel happy playing it. So I mean, how can you not when the music is that stunning? Like, it's been our job to get the best out of Chris anyway. That's the captain's and section leader's job, is to support the energy in the room so that Chris can get the best music out. Now, he could sit at home on his keyboard playing away, trying to figure stuff out, and then he'll come into the room and try to put it down, and what sounded right at home won't work in the room. Right. Maybe the players didn't vibe off of it enough, and he's then going away and scratching back all the work that he's done and trying to pull out more. There's been times when he's done a whole jam, which is like a short section of music for anyone that doesn't know, that repeats. The chords just go round and round, the bass line goes round, there's some nice runs and some nice counter melodies. So he's done a jam, he hasn't felt the response from the band that he wanted, gone away and scrapped it and done a completely different jam. So Chris has really invested himself fully, but we are responsible for getting that music out of him ultimately. I hear you. What does success at Panorama look like to you? Is it just about winning? I mean, winning would be lovely. I mean, who doesn't want to win? We're competitive creatures. Everybody loves to go out and say that they're the best. just by going Panorama, I mean, there are bands out there that have never won Panorama and they go every single year. But the experience of going there is well worthwhile for any band, because that sense of unity when you play that song together on the stage, I mean, you can play it 1,000 times and it will never feel the same way that it does up there on that stage. With the audience, like, you see the sea of people ahead of you, the judges sat on the table, the flag ladies are getting the flags going, the banners being held up, everybody's on edge, and then Chris counts the song in, you hear, and you know you're off. That's it. And that one time that you play the song, you could play it 1,000,000 times and it may never ever sound as good as that one moment. And that's what we hope for this year, is that we can go out, not peak too early, and give it the best that we got, because Pan Nation deserves a win. It's a force in the steel band movement. We've established ourselves as one of the best, if not the very best, gig band in the UK. So a steel band that goes out and performs. We can field a side of up to about 35 to 40 players at our biggest. And our repertoire is loved by not just our band, but by people in other bands and by audiences nationwide as well.
Right, yes, I want to go into like leadership and vision. To me, looking in, you're seen as a leader and a mentor in Pan Nation. How do you approach that responsibility?
Cautiously, like, there's different versions of Dan that you may get on different days, depends who I'm dealing with. I have to be mindful that there are students of mine from my primary school that have now maybe grown up a little bit, and students from my secondary school that are starting to get good enough to come into the band too. So my behaviour has to be 100% around the pan yard at all times. So that keeps me in check sometimes. So there's times when I want to flare up, and there's times when I want to potentially fix situations. Sometimes you have to raise your voice a little bit. I'm trying not to do that, because you never know who's listening, really. And as a leader, I'm just becoming a little bit softer as I get older, because you get more out of people when you nurture them, encourage them and build them up, than if you shout them down. And while the urge sometimes is to raise your voice, sometimes it's better to say nothing.
I hear you. How do you balance being a performer, teacher and a mentor all at once?
I get good sleep when I can. It's quite a big responsibility, because everywhere I go I've got to put a different kind of hat on. There's times like last Panorama, when we didn't go to perform at Panorama, I went back to the band that I kind of played with many years ago, Real Steel from Plymouth, and I had a lovely experience where I could go down there and just be myself. It was, everyone's my age, there's no young people around, nobody that I teach, and it was a nice experience to go and do that. But I'd much prefer to be here with Pan Nation, even if I have to breathe it in every now and then and think about what's best for the band all the time. It can be hard to juggle. I'd rather be myself all the time, but sometimes you got to put a hat on and just stick at it. I can see the bigger vision is us going and winning Panorama, so why would I want to interfere with that just because I may get upset over something? I don't know. It's a really tough question. Balance is difficult. I go to I have a coach. I train 3 times a week, and we're doing intense bodybuilding as well. Currently right at the end of a cut, and I'm looking forward to getting some more calories in my body, because all this stuff, like the health journey, good sleep, it all enables me to be able to get up on time, to leave. I live in southeast London, so I'm driving constantly up and down through the Blackwall Tunnel, and so I need to get up earlier than most people. I need to leave earlier than most people. And I've got to be one of the first people here. I need to set the example. So while there's a lot of responsibility, I just do it.
For real, that's it. Just to do it, it gets it done.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to deal with broader perspectives, and this is the last few questions. How do you see the future of steel pan music in the UK? Are we progressing, or at risk of losing touch?
I believe we're progressing. While there seems to be always has been a fight for the overall leadership of the steel band movement in the UK, what we're doing here at Pan Nation is kind of setting the example to the rest of the community particularly about building up in the youth. Now there are other great examples around, like North Tyneside Steel Band. They have a whole youth project where they have people out in schools, and they're doing the same thing up in Newcastle that we're doing down here. We have another band on the opposite side in West London called New Generation, and it's kind of started out as a family band, and then it became the kids of my friends that set it up, and their friends, and then their friends, and now they've got this amazing youth band that's just popped up out of nowhere called New Generation in the last 3-4 years. They're getting stronger and stronger. So I believe that Pan's headed in the right direction. The steel bands are headed in the right direction. And very recently, I was blessed to be asked to judge at the first ever small bands Panorama. So one of the biggest complaints about Panorama is from bands. How can we go to Panorama? We've only got 30 players when Pan Nation have got 100 and Ebony have got 100 and Mangrove's got 100. How can we compete with that? And the truth is that they can't, unless they amalgamate and find other bands to join them, and they go as they go under one banner, but they're 3 different bands. I've seen that happen in the past, and it's not necessarily the best way forward. So the small band Panorama was started by an organisation called Justin Carnival, set up by my friend Justin. He's a player in Ebony, and he literally just decided he wanted to do this through his business. So he picked a venue, made a flyer, picked the judges, got some bands represented, got some bands signed up for it, and there was 3 bands last Sunday performing for the first ever title, and I was judging that. So I can see that this is growing, and if we could have a medium band Panorama, we nearly have the full set like Trinidad.
Okay.
So because Trinidad has a single pan, small band. Small bands would be up to 25-30 players, medium bands around 50 to 60, large bands up to 120. So for years we've only been able to pull out a few large bands once a year, and now we've got a small Panorama. Also this year on the day of the big Panorama, there's Junior Panorama. Right. So some of the bands are going to have to go through the stage twice. Well, we'll be out on the road rehearsing. The Junior Panorama will be going on, and and then we're just getting ready for our spot. We don't know when we're playing yet, and we find out on Sunday.
Okay, so last question for you. If there was one thing you could change or improve in the UK steel pan scene, what would it be?
Wow, that is a big question. I mean, there's lots of things to improve. I'm just trying to think of the one thing that I think would make the biggest impact. I think if every band would invest in its youth, then every band would have a much stronger chance of survival. There's so many pitfalls with this though, and I've seen many bands fail and collapse trying to regenerate. There's multiple ways you can do it. You can start a brand new band within the band, and then after teach them the similar music or teach them some of the more basic arrangements, get them gigging, and then maybe start to introduce them once they've grown their repertoire and learnt more songs. There's other ways to do it, which is just to bring in new people all the time. And we at Pan Nation, how we do it is, like, right now we're in Panorama season, but come the first practice in September that we go back, we're working towards the Christmas show. We would have already picked the repertoire for the Christmas show. So anybody that comes in to join us, they actually have an opportunity 10-12 weeks to get 10 songs under their belt. Now those 10 or 12 weeks can go one of 2 ways. The players can either get the music, play in the concert, find their feet in the band, or players can come in half-baked, come in sometimes, not other times, not get all the music, feel behind, it's a challenge, it's stressful, and they might not make it. But we have more success that way than just starting a whole new band like I've seen elsewhere, because that can actually break a band. Imagine you have you tour together, you go shopping together, you are gigging together, you're traveling everywhere in the same minibuses and cars together, you're eating together, you're practicing together, you're staying in the same places. You form really tight bonds with your band, and then as soon as you try to introduce a whole other set of people into that, it can break it. So I just think that bands need to just be more give more thought to how they can regenerate successfully and keep themselves going, because the worst thing that can happen is bands start disappearing. And it has happened in the past. My band from Portsmouth has completely disappeared now. It doesn't exist anymore.
Oh wow.
But all those players, lots of them are still playing Pan in their own little way or in other bands, and like me, I found my way to London and I ended up in Pan Nation. But my band originally, which was a fantastic band, collapsed. So yeah, invest in your youth. No matter what it is you're doing, it doesn't necessarily need to be Pan. The youth is the future, and if you can't nurture that and you can't encourage that, we'll have big problems. So that's the key for me.
Definitely.
Not just in Pan, but in life.
I second that, bro. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me. It's great to chat to you.
Nice one.
Nice one.
Hey yo, what's outside is within. The mind regulates the hand that masters the pen. The pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier still. The stargate to the mind's revealed. The vortex.